Don't stop in this flame, cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back for Married at First Sight. This is our review panel recap, and this is season 16 of Married at First Sight, episode 10. Love is up in the air. How you doing, Roro?
I am just fabulous, ready to rock with it. How are you doing?
I'm doing I'm doing all right considering I broke my phone. I can't
Oh no.
contact anybody. So guys, if you're
Oh,
out there and you have my number, text me your phone number and your name. Because if you just text me your phone number, I'm not gonna know who the heck you are. So
I heard that.
yeah, go ahead and text me your phone number and name if you're any of my friends and family that are out there. Because I think I remember all of like maybe two numbers, and those are my adult children.
Oh, I heard that. I would be the same.
It's so crazy. I can remember when I was much younger and before cell phones came into vogue. I can remember like I probably had at least maybe 20 numbers, my best friends, my parents' number, our landline. Um, I had all these numbers in my brain, and I could just go to the phone and I could just hit the digits, and there it was. Right? Does
Right,
anybody
right.
anybody do that now? Does anybody remember anybody's number? If you remember more than two or three people's phone numbers off the cuff, right off your head, put it in the chat. Just say me, I do, and put the number. If it's 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever, maybe you are a genius. I am not a genius anymore. So,
Mm-mm. Girl,
guys,
I just go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
You go
I'm
ahead.
just saying. I just click on the picture. Okay, my son's picture. I just click on it.
Exactly. That's it. I click on everybody I call, including you. I just click on the picture. I don't even know if I know your area code, okay?
Mhm.
I mean, I know people that are locally here in the Metro Detroit area. That's the 313, as
Right,
Eris pointed out with their apartment room number. They're in apartment 313. That's our major area code for Detroit. And then you go out to the suburbs, you got 248, you got oh my gosh, you got 734. I can't just all kinds of numbers that you have. I think 810
right.
is still one of them. Uh, for one while, living in suburban Detroit, my area code changed like maybe 3 times. So like they
Wow.
had given out all the numbers, with the 313 area code. So then they had to change it to 810, and then they had to change it to 248. It's crazy. It's just
Oh
so
no,
crazy.
I can't remember any of that.
Right, right. Well, yeah. Hey there. Oh, my one of my favorite girls. You got to come up here next time with us and join us, Mocha Mima. Mocha Mima is one of our OGs, one of the originals from day one, and she's also starting her own YouTube channel, and which is excellent. I'm so excited and awesome for you.
Go
Uh,
do mocha.
hi, hey there. Hey Nicole. Hey. Oh, listen to Mocha. She says, "What? I barely remember my own number." I know that's right. Oh, the calls got me beat. She remembers 4 numbers, girl. That's
You
good. Like
go, girl.
you, you are a genius, right? Oh, you know what? Mocha says she remembers her landline numbers from when she was a kid, her grandmother and family, and no cell numbers. I know, right? I still remember
Mhm.
our old house number, and we hadn't lived in that house since I was I don't know how young, like but I still remember that landline number. And my girlfriends, oddly enough, they remember it too. But we used to sneak and call each other at night. You know how you would do that? This is what you would do. You would dial that number for the time is
Right.
8:04 p.m., right? You would dial that, and then you had call waiting, so that way your parents wouldn't hear the phone ringing at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
You were slick.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started, guys. We hope that you're having a wonderful, happy Sunday. That the weather is nice where you are. That it's not too cold and maybe not too hot. Who knows if you're in Texas or Arizona or Florida, like some people. I'm not gonna say any names, but Roro.
Oh, oh
but
me? Oh,
but we'll go ahead and we got to get started because I got a lot to say. I got a lot
okay.
to say,
Yeah, I
and
bet.
I got a lot to say. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with this couple here. Where are you, couple? You're hiding from me. I had to go back. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get started with this couple right here, and I'm gonna take her comment off the screen right quick. Okay, Mocha.
Okay.
We're gonna get started with Nicole and Chris, right?
Okay.
Um, where do I start with these two?
Mm,
I guess we'll start with Chris is a somewhat of a romantic guy. He's thoughtful. I'm going to give him credit for that. Because we see them, and I say that only because we see them going for a couples massage, right?
mm-hmm.
And I don't
Yep.
know if anybody else has ever done that. I've had uh, a former, a significant other that asked about doing that. And for whatever reason at the time, I didn't think I wanted to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought that was just kind of, for me, I wasn't comfortable doing that with him at that point in our relationship. So we never did. So I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's really romantic. You're married, so definitely
Mm-hmm.
you're committed. You should be committed. The two of them are married, and
Mm-hmm.
we see them both lying on the massage table, and they're
Mm-hmm.
under of course, the tiles or whatever. And there's two massagers, right? And
Right.
they're individually. One's doing him and one's doing her, and they're talking, which is something I probably wouldn't do during a massage because I just want to relax and just let everything just drift away. Work, children, all your issues, all of the things that
Mm-hmm.
you normally get tense about. I would just want to let everything go. Maybe have some candles and some soft music playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What about you, Robo? What would you
Yeah,
do?
yeah. Like I said over on at Kimberly Reviews live the other night, just hush and rub. Just hush and rub, okay? That's all I need.
Hmm.
Just hush and rub. Relaxation is the goal, but I understand that they probably had to do that because of the show, just
Yeah, yeah,
so
right. They
because
had to.
even a lying on their back, at the beginning, I mean, to me that was kind of weird, like usually you're on your stomach, but anyway.
Right, right. But go ahead. You were
Yeah, I
gonna
think
say.
I think that, yeah, they probably had to indulge in conversation, because of the show. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have done all of that talking. Yeah,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think too. But they're talking, and they're saying some interesting things. I think one of the interesting things that came out that Nicole said, which I thought was fascinating, was that she said that before this relationship, she was never a physical touch person.
Hmm.
And I thought that was very interesting because at their age, being so young and everything, I think back to my 20s and 30s. It
Mhm.
was all about the physical touch for me. I enjoyed
Mm.
being with that significant person, the significant other, embracing, kissing, all the things that go with that, right? And
Right.
I just think, like, that's really interesting. But then I thought about her, and I thought back to her earlier episodes when she said that one of her significant others told her that if she loved him, she would allow him to, do something with the cigarette to her body. So I said, well,
Yeah.
maybe why? Maybe she's so traumatized because she's clearly had abusive, um, lovers in the past, right?
Right. Well,
You
that's
know.
where I went to. Either that or, childhood abuse, that
Mm,
involves something physical, so, because that was pretty intense when she said that. That was pretty intense that, she was not a physical touch person until she met him. And, kudos to Chris for breaking
yeah.
down that wall so quickly, you know.
Exactly, exactly. He does seem to be breaking down the walls. She seems to feel like she can trust him and that he is a safe space. And I always ask women that if you're with a man from beginning to end, like from the first date, from the first phone call, what is it about this man that makes you feel safe? I always ask that because if you're not safe with a man, whether that's from verbal abuse, physical abuse, anything worse than any of those two, and we know there are things that are worse. If you're
Hmm.
not safe with the man, then I couldn't trust him. nor would I want to be with him. So, I mean, that's
Right.
just me, but I think that women need to be aware of that, that you really, what is it about this man that's creating a safe space? And what is it factually that you can point to? What is it that he does? What is it that he says? What is it that he doesn't say that maybe others in the
Exactly.
past, have said? So I
Hmm.
think that's good that he's creating a safe space. I think they're definitely connecting in these moments on the show that we're seeing them connect. I think that's genuine, even though there's a sense that for myself and of course other YouTubers and bloggers, I do agree with this. That there's some trauma bonding too, because Chris is always talking about an ex. I mean, like I'm like, what? You're talking about
Yeah.
an ex? Like really? Like all the
Yeah.
time? If I were her, I would probably have to tell him to shut up. Shut up. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't.
mean, and then he says he took her, the last time he went to a couples massage was with his toxic ex, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
He
you're
did. He
right.
did. He did say that, but I do think though that was like a confessional. So he wasn't. I don't. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but I think he was saying that to the producers in a confessional scene where she wasn't present. Of course, she's going to see it later, but like,
Mhm.
yeah, right, exactly, Mocha. Trauma by. Hey there, Millennial. Hey there, good to see you. Yeah, I get Millennial. Oh, by the way, Millennial has her own channel, and I love it. She does 90 days the other way. Millennial, put it down in the chat if you can. I don't remember what night you covered that live, but I love your live. So put that down in the chat so everybody can tune in and check your show out because it's really great. It's a great show.
Oh, okay.
And you're another one when you're, hit me up in the IG where we can share contact information. So maybe one day you can come on the show and you can chat it up with us about mass if you're
Yeah.
available. We would love that. We would really
Yes,
love
we
that.
would. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Hmm.
And so moving on with Chris and Nicole, uh basically, so we see in another scene where he's talking to her, Chris, he's telling
Hmm.
Nicole, he says, there's kind of something I got to tell you, babe. That they were asking me after I met you. I told Maps that I liked a woman that had a beautiful smile, a pretty face. And well, I honestly told them too, baby, by the way, that you're a little thicker than I expected.
Hmm.
Okay. And by thick, I don't mean that in a bad way, honey. Don't cry. Wipe your eyes.
Hmm.
Don't cry. Don't cry, boo. Oh, stop crying, baby. Oh,
Oh,
please don't
wow.
start crying. What did you think about that?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, he knew he would, she was going to see it, so he had to tell her, but I don't think he meant it in a derogatory way. Um, but,
Hmm.
it sounded derogatory to her. So no matter how he said it, it was going to be negative to her because she has a certain image about her body, so it struck her as negative. No, and I just don't think there was any other way he could do it, so I hope that they can work through it. I hope that she can get to the point where she realized that he really, just think about it, he was properly surprised himself. If she is not the type of girl as far as physical looks that he normally is attracted to, but he really likes her. He said that she had a beautiful face, she had a beautiful smile, and
Hmm.
beautiful eyes. So he probably was very surprised himself that he was that much attracted to her, regardless of her size. So I hope that it can get to a point where she can know that and appreciate it.
Right. Right. I
You
agree. I
know.
agree. I think that, I know I'm looking for our friend Stay Tuned to pop in, but he's not here yet. But I love it because he's always saying thicker than a snicker, thicker than a snicker. That's one of his slogans, thicker than a snicker. And in our community, so that's interesting, like culturally in America, you've got Black Americans and a lot of not all, never all of
Mhm.
anything in any group, ethnic group, racial group, but many Black men appreciate a woman, a Black woman, or even a woman of other races that is not skinny. We don't
Right.
typically, our men don't. They don't want them out looking for women that like my friend likes to say, my co-host likes to say, nobody wants a bone but a dog, so like, you want some meat on that bone. So we're
Yeah,
typically
yeah.
in our community, we don't look at people, whereas I notice some of my Caucasian friends, they've always tried to keep their body very slender with no fat on it, and they're always on vegan and vegetarian diets and keto. And no, not saying that that's bad, I don't think that's bad,
Hmm.
but I'm just saying it's all about, what is your goal? Is it you're trying to be healthy, or is it just a look that you're trying to present? I think that's an interesting thing that people have. I'm never personally ever really worried about my weight. Not saying that it's not an issue, but I never really worried about it. I never really thought about, like, what do I look like to a guy? That's just I don't know. Like, what do I look like to a guy?
Well,
Am I happy with my body? That's the thing I've thought about.
well, I just want to always be, able to go without wearing, like something like a, what they call them now. They don't call them girdles anymore. What do they call them?
Oh, shapers now,
Yeah,
shapers and waist
shapers.
trainers, but it's all the same thing. You're right. They
Yeah,
don't call
yeah,
they don't nobody says girdles anymore, and that's what I came up with as a girl too. When you got to be like maybe 13, if you had the
yeah.
kind of body where it jiggled a little, you had to wear a girdle in the church. Like, that's all it
Well,
was, and that's all there is to it. You ain't gonna walk around jiggling and having these what do you call them? The men in the church, the not the ushers, but the what do you call them? The men, they're important in the church. They're not the pastor, but they're just the lay people. What do you
oh,
call?
okay.
What do you call them?
The
Come on, help me
deacons,
out.
the deacons, the
Deacons,
deacons.
that's it. The deacons, the deacons. Like, right, you are not gonna be walking around here tempting these deacons. They looking at you because you got, all this cleavage out, and you walking around, and every time you take a
Hmm.
step, you just bouncing and just a jiggling, bouncing and a jiggling,
Girl,
bouncing and
my
a
mama
jiggling.
made me wear one at 13, and that's what made me learn how to do sit-ups, okay? I learned how
Right.
to do sit-ups. And I was like,
Really? Really?
okay,
Why did you learn
yeah,
how to do the sit-ups? Because you didn't want to wear the girdle?
exactly. No, no, that thing felt like something was tied. I felt like I was tied up, and it's like, no, I can't do this. Never, never, never. No. So I learned how to do sit-ups, okay?
Yeah, sit-ups and there's a lot of little things that we can do to tone our bodies, but and I don't know
Hmm.
too, because I've never really had the jiggle even when I've gained weight in my later years. So I think
Hmm.
that's something that some women have, and some women, God bless them, because those that have the jiggle, they can twerk better. So God bless them. I'm not mad. But
Okay.
we go forward to this couple right here. This couple right here, Clint. Oh, let me take that comment off so you can see the name. This is
Okay.
and yeah, there's Millennial Mom's contact information here on YouTube. Be sure to go over and check them out. She says they're on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Clint
Okay.
and Gina. On to Clint and
Mm.
Gina. Um
Okay.
uh we start this one out. There's so much going on. In my notes, I know I'm missing something because I'm not sure which scene with them came first. Was it the he's at her salon? Was that the first scene we see with them?
I think so. I think he walks in and he says,
Okay.
"I came for my appointment." But I think he was talking to his mom first. You know,
Oh,
no, that
okay.
wasn't the first thing.
No,
The
that I
first
don't think.
thing was
Yeah.
with she was in the bedroom working, and
Oh
he went and
yeah,
asked her, would she like some coffee?
some coffee and breakfast.
Yeah,
Right.
and so
Right.
then
Hey,
he gave
yeah.
her that look, like she's
Again.
working, so but
Again.
he had to stop and think about it. So then he went and called his mom, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Go ahead.
exactly, Mocha. They were strangulation garments, but anyway.
Absolutely.
It,
But back to his mother. He calls his
yeah,
mother
he
up.
called his mom and asked
Mhm.
her, for advice on how to deal with Gina's working all the time. And I like what his mom told him. Yeah, that yeah, you should be able to make room and make time for your personal life. But in the beginning, you're all in because it's your new business and it takes up most of your time in the beginning. So I think that gave him a new outlook on how much she works, and he feels
Yes.
better about it.
Yes, I got that. And I was very appreciative that his mom was not like some people's family members, heiress, Fallon heiress,
Hmm.
cousin.
Hmm.
That his mom, unlike some people who are evil and want to see marriages and relationships destroyed, his mom actually told the truth. She said that, look, the first 4 years is tough. It's tough when you start a business. You have to be all in or nothing. You just have to be all in,
Mhm.
and you have to understand and accept that, Clint. And I love it that she told him that. She said, but now I can sit back because now I can delegate. But it took me a while to get there. It took me a while to get
Mhm.
there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree, Mocha. Clint is likable. Where Gina, she's not as likable, but this episode, I think she really kind of stepped it up. Do you feel like and tell me out there in the chat, guys, do you feel like Gina this episode, if she finally kind of stepped it up? Because I did see her relaxing, having fun. Um
Mhm.
okay, so we talked about he was consulting with his mother. Okay, so then he visits Gina's salon. And
Yes.
okay, guys, now I got to ask you this, Roro. What did you think of Gina's salon? Was it everything that you hoped it would be?
Well, unfortunately, I feel just like Dominique felt about McKinley. I expected more at first. I expected more.
Oh, like what? Like what did you expect? What did you expect?
It was just a little tiny little spot. But I thought that she had like this salon with lots of seats and, different areas, but everything was like compacted into that one little area. So is that because she has not gotten her brick and mortar building yet, and she's just maybe renting a space somewhere in like one of those like salon plazas, where they have like
Mm.
20 different people in one building with different little sections.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know what? It's funny. A lot of reviewers, of course, me going on Sunday, us going on Sunday, we get to hear a lot of reviewers, and I do watch. I'm in the bushes, but most of the time, because I'm watching it usually on replay at work.
Hmm.
Sometimes when it's live, though, I don't have a problem commenting and letting people know that I'm watching their video, and I'm also a content creator. I have no problem with that,
Hmm.
unlike some people. But anyway, but I love to go in there, and I'm gonna tell you, I think that while it was a suite and it was modest, uh, in some ways, I think that maybe what I heard Gina saying was that wasn't she planning on building out from the ground up? So maybe this is the temporary brick and mortar salon until they finish building and adding the sinks and doing whatever remodeling, whatever it is that she's having done. So I'm happy and I'm excited for her. I think Gina is on a come up. It seems like maybe she kind of did use the show a little bit to advertise for free, maybe a little
Yeah,
bit.
and get that show money. I mean, when you're starting a business, you need money, because that was just kind of like my question. Like, since she's working so much and she really don't have a lot of time to commit, why did she even do this? Because, you know, you can't just get married and not spend time with your new spouse. you know
Right.
um it just made me wonder what was her reason for coming on the show, for doing this,
What was her
because
real? Hmm.
yeah, what was the ulterior motive?
Well, it had to be ulterior. Okay, well they are still giving roommate vibes. I think we can all agree with that. Out in the chat, what do you think? Are Clint and Gina still giving roommate vibes, or are they giving really seriously married? I mean, with her sleeping, the two of them sleeping in separate bedrooms. Even at the end of their scene with the okay, so we saw some other things going on. We saw them. Um, they went to the rodeo. Well, no, let me back up. First of all, Clint took Gina out on his sailboat, and it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I
Oh
saw
yeah.
Gina relaxing. She wasn't
Yes.
thinking about work. She wasn't even talking about work. Oh my God, wake up! She was not talking
Yep.
about work, and it just unfortunately was not a strong, healthy wind that day, so they didn't get as much done. But they both seemed to. I mean, you saw the sun setting, and I think that those are the kind of moments that Clint, he really wanted a wife for that purpose, to share his love of sailing. He's kind of more
Yes,
of
he
an
did.
outdoorsy person than she is, but Gina seemed to relax into it. What do you think, Roro?
I enjoyed watching that scene. I mean, she seemed very relaxed, sitting there with her little legs crossed on the side of the boat, and he was teasing her, like he was gonna let the boat go out with her in it, and I thought they had a lot of fun, and it seemed to be what he really wanted. Like he said in the beginning, like in the matchmaking sessions, that he was looking for someone who would do those type of things with him, especially
Well,
go out on his sailboats with him.
Oh, I know what it was I wanted to talk about before I get on to the other couples with them. A very serious, somber moment where when the experts asked them to be vulnerable with one another and share something about their past or something personal. Clint actually shared something that was very touching. He talked about when he was a younger man, he was with a
Mhm.
lady friend or girlfriend, and not on purpose or whatever, not planned, but she became pregnant, and she told him. And when she told him, he was man enough to step up and say, you know what, whatever happens between you and I, whether we stay together as a couple, get married or whatever, but I want to be in my child's life. I want to be there. I want to know my child, spend time, be emotionally invested, financially invested, pay for things, pay for diapers, pay for daycare. I don't want my child to struggle, and they don't have to, and you don't have to.
Mhm.
And but unfortunately, according to Clint, the baby, there was a miscarriage a few weeks later, so he never got to meet on this side
Mhm.
of heaven and earth. He never got to meet that baby, unfortunately. But you could tell from this scene. What did you think? Did you think that he was really emotionally invested? I felt like he was.
I did too. I don't think a man is gonna come out and say something like that unless he means it. That's just me. I just think that he said it from the heart, and he was trying to be as vulnerable as he could be with her. Just so she'll know. You can trust me. If I can share this with you, then you can trust me to be open and vulnerable with me. Which is what we were talking about before. That's what you need. You need to be able to trust each other.
Yes.
And I think he was just giving her just a tidbit or something, where she could latch on to and say, "Hey, he was vulnerable with me, and that tells me that I can kind of trust him, because not too many men are going to come out and admit something like that."
Right, right. I really felt for Clint. I felt like he was like you said, he was very sincere in what he was saying. I felt like not only does Clint have the means financially to take care of a child and do right by a child, providing for a child, but I felt like he's the kind of man that his heart would have been open to the lady who had had his child,
Mhm.
that he would probably want if she were interested. Of course, it takes two, but he
Right.
probably would have wanted to marry and live in wedlock with this woman and raise this child the way he was raised with his father and his mother.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really felt that way. But we'll move forward now because we got some people that we're gonna have to guys, I don't know, you're gonna see me upset today, I think, because uh it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me every season that Married at First Sight continues to give women of color, particularly and specifically Black women, African American women, the worst, trashiest piece of men that they can find out in these streets. The worst. And here's a
Mhm.
prime example right here: Eris. Eris
Mhm.
and Jasmine are just, I mean, like, I don't know. Eris is just like, to me, he's just garbage. He and his cousin
Mhm.
Val are garbage.
Slime.
And I can believe I got to go on a rant here, so I'm just hold off on. I'm not trying to keep you from speaking, Roro, but I just feel like he's garbage, and yeah, I think they're blood relatives, and you know why I think they're blood relatives? Because they're both jealous, crab of the barrel type people. They're the type of people that can try to pull down a whole race, a whole group, a whole culture of people being like they are. Because, for example, Fallon, rather than talk about her cousin being this low life, not ready for marriage, 39 years old, doesn't do his own laundry. We've seen two, three different houses. Is he living in the Airbnb, or is he living at home with his mom? Because he said his mom does his laundry. Okay, which one is it? Because they take us to this nice house, and everybody says, "Oh, look at that! Look at his house. He got a nice house." Wait a minute, but didn't this man just a few seconds ago say that when he has his own place and when he has his own apartment, he's going to put black artwork on the walls? Where was the black artwork at? Was somebody pointed out to me? There was no black artwork on the walls. There was no sign
Mhm.
that black people lived there because he had a gym and a guy's room. There was no black artwork. Where was the black artwork, Eris? You're a liar. You and your cousin are the worst type of crab in the barrel people. Okay, I'm a hush.
You sure? I mean, there's no more. You got it all out. I mean, I
There's
hear you,
more.
and
There's more.
I
I want.
know.
I
know.
wanted to take a breather and let you speak because I mean,
Well,
what are you thinking about Eris? I mean, like,
well, I'm right there with you. I think that, he is a very weak person, and a very weak man. I think that he is lying. I think that he is attracted to Jasmine, but he is intimidated by her. He is not used to
ooh,
being with a woman who has self-confidence, who is a lady, who is educated and
yes, yes,
articulate, you know,
yes.
and he doesn't know how to handle a woman of such stature. He doesn't. He's used to being able to um, talk to these girls that he had been with any kind of way, disrespect them, talking about asking them all these sexual questions and telling them that if you haven't cheated or if you haven't been in an orgy, well, I don't know if I can even say that word, that you're boring. To me, that was so rude.
Right.
So rude and inadequate. He's
Is
an
is
inadequate man.
And that's it. You just said it to me. That's the whole thing. I wrote in my notes. Okay, let me read to you what I wrote in my notes if I can read this on YouTube, if I can say this. Eris is a whole entire child, a male, an underdeveloped male, not a man, a boy who, like a lot of black men who are unaccomplished and immature, they use sex to make themselves be relevant and is not. You are not relevant. You are not. I promise you, you're doing all of this so you can have a few more people in your DMs after this show is over with. I'm telling you, if the women or the girls that want to be in your DMs, they're just as bad as the same girls that would be in Nick Cannon's DMs. They have lost their minds. They have lost their minds and they would do anything for clout because you,
Hmm.
Eris, are a whole piece of trash,
Hmm.
in my
You know,
opinion.
you know, Fallon is gonna go in there and delete those DMs. His cousin, she's
Oh,
gonna go in there.
oh, okay, 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 okay. And I just wanted to respond to mom of the millennial and mom. I don't think that the experts have failed. This is what they do. This is what they do. I mean, think back to I.E. Gill, also another failure. Also an under
Hmm.
accomplished black man that's middle aged and has nothing to show for it. Just starting
Hmm.
out on a job, on a career at 35, 37. Come on now.
And
You
they
know,
they
you
match
want
him
to,
with an accomplished woman
they
who has
matched him with a
worked
woman
her
that was
way up to,
from,
to a
yes,
certain level where she can do and as much as she,
yes,
whatever she pleases.
accomplished, educated, highly educated,
Yes.
master's degree, making six figures above, and you match him with the guy that doesn't even know what a 401k is, and he wants to tell you that his money, his savings is in Colombia with his mom.
Mm,
No. Your savings is not there. If you're okay, I get that you immigrated here from Colombia. Just say you send money to your mother, but don't say your savings is there. There is no savings in Colombia. Stop.
exactly.
Stop lying to us
Exactly.
and stop sending us these black men that are under accomplished. Stop
Yeah,
it.
because that was so unfair to her. That is so unfair to her. I think she was definitely done wrong here by the show. And, kudos to her for not saying anything because I think that's what got Dominique in trouble. You know,
Right.
anytime you let the experts know that you're unhappy with the match, then they're going to get you. You're going to become a villain.
Absolutely. They're
So,
going to edit you that way. And I mean, she was matched with a Caucasian guy, for goodness sake. Okay?
hmm.
But he was
Hmm.
coming across as a whole homosexual. I don't know what's going on with him. He says he has a business. We see him. He's a project manager of a
Yeah,
construction site one time, and then another time they tell us that he has a cannabis business, and then the other time underneath his name and his title they put entrepreneur. Which one is it? Pick one. Pick
right. And
one.
and what was his plans? Did he expect Dominique to move into the basement of someone else's home and then take her back to wherever his dogs are that he claimed he is so crazy about, that wasn't with him? What was his
Right.
plan? So, yeah, I don't, from what we could see, I like I said before, just on them quickly, I think Dominique had a lot of growing up to do, yes, but I think that when it came to as far as looking forward to the future in a marriage, I think she was way more mature than McKinley. You know, she had sense enough to think about some things. You know, like what are your plans? What have you what is going on? What do you have for us to look forward to? And to me, they didn't really give us an answer other than he ain't broke, quote unquote, Pastor
That was,
Cal.
yeah, Pastor Cal, Pastor Cal, King. Some people call him the king of the Dusties. I don't know if
Pastor
he is or
Dusty.
not. But when you say somebody is not broke, what is that telling me? Like if I were doing finding out about my significant other, and he's finding out about me, and he just tells me, well, you know what, babe, I ain't broke. I don't want you to see my
Mhm.
W-2 forms. I don't want you to see my tax forms, but trust me, I ain't broke. What does that mean?
Yeah, just trust me, take me as I am. Well, what are
Mm.
you? What I'm seeing is not what I want. You know, it's not what I asked for, and it's definitely not what I want. So, no,
Now,
you're
now
gonna have to do more.
Yeah, now High Vibes on the screen, she has a comment. She wrote in to say, "We forgot that Married at First Sight was and is a social experiment. They said it in season one. So there's never a real effort to match people for success. It's all for drop." Good point, High Vibe. Good point.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I notice a big difference, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make this about race, but if it is, it is. It's just a fact. Married at First Sight, whoever the producers are, black, white, Asian, I don't know, okay? But you put together this show, and it's obvious to me that there's parts of misogyny in it, and there's definitely parts where there's a racial disparity, because you can't tell me that there's these women on the one hand that are black and Latino that are making six figures, and you pair them with guys that are barely making five figures, low five figures. Okay. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me they don't have the education and the credentials to match these women. And I'm not saying that because somebody has a PhD or a master's degree that the person necessarily perfect for them has to have those same degrees. But can you give me a skilled tradesman? A plumber, a licensed plumber, a plumber in the union makes six figures too. Okay. An electrician,
Hmm.
a master electrician makes six figures too. Okay. But don't
Hmm.
come giving me some guy that just started working for the fire department yesterday.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Yep. And the statistics tells us that the number one reason for divorce is money.
Exactly. That's a very thank you. That is a very strong point, because I think and I'm not sure if this is true now, but the last time I really was looking at it, and this has been some years, I'll admit, the three
Hmm.
things, you're right. Money was number one, SEX was number two, and number three was children. And
Hmm.
that included all aspects, how you raise the children, whether she's willing to have children, whether he wants children, or what. Okay, there's a whole bunch of different varieties to that, but money, as Roro just said, is at the top of the heap, because how we survive and how we put our money together, and whether or not we're able to buy groceries or not this week, that's going to be very important. And if I can't eat my steak, I'm going to be mad at you.
Exactly. You know, and I gotta have my crab legs every now and then. Okay.
Every now and then, thank you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing of it is that if I'm looking at this one, I know it may sound selfish, but think about this, guys. Whatever you make, whatever you earn, right? And whatever
Hmm.
standard of living that you have, if the other person isn't coming together and working just as hard, putting together, and maybe they're working hard, but here's a real thing too. Some people make six figures and can't save a thin dime.
Hmm.
Think about
Hmm.
that. So maybe this
Hmm.
person's blowing their money, cigarettes, going to the strip club, buying whatever they buy, just wasting it on silly, frivolous stuff. Like Gil, who came out to the reunion and bought all this designer stuff, but couldn't even pay rent. Like, everybody
Exactly.
isn't living like that. I don't want to live. My kids will tell you, I've always had a less than vehicle. Why? So I could live in the suburbs, give them the schools that were high value, give them the education that I wanted them to have. Okay. So I
Exactly.
sacrificed. But if I wasn't sacrificing so I could go to the club, I wasn't sacrificing so that I could waste money or spend money on frivolous stuff. I sacrificed why? So my kids could have it better than I did.
Me too. We had to live somewhere safe as possible, you know, and be near good schools and in a reasonably safe neighborhood. Same here. Same here. There were times when I didn't even have a vehicle. I used the subway and the buses to get around, you know, because it was more important for me that my sons were able to be safe and have a nice place to live, and
Mhm. Mhm.
live in a pretty good live near good schools. That was very
Right.
important to me. So yeah.
Let me ask you this, Roro. What did you think about when Eris he took her and her dog, and this was supposed to be his love language, is that rather than take her dog to a professional groomer like her dog was what she was accustomed to doing with her dog, he was gonna splurge a whole $10, $12 and take her to a do it yourself doggy wash. What did you think about that? How romantic was that?
Well, I thought it was at first I thought it was a nice gesture, and then I think he did say he was going to save her the money, because he thought he was saving her the money. Here we go back to money, of taking the dog to the groomer.
Oh, he's saving
And
her money. So, he let her spend the money on. He didn't even treat. Oh my goodness, such
no,
a
no, he
non-provider.
he treated her, but
Oh,
I think what he said was he was
oh,
gonna keep. I think she's spending the money to send Duchess the dog to the groomers,
okay. I
correct?
got you. I got you. I
So he's
got you.
saving
Her
her that
money, her
money
her 50,
by
75
taking them.
dollars.
Yeah, by taking them
Guys,
down to isn't that in their
right.
building?
Oh, okay, but listen. Okay, but listen. More importantly, what
Hmm.
did you think about the what's the game called? Never have I ever. What did you think about this game and all of these things that came out about Eris? Eris wants us to know. Well, wait a minute. Let me back up. Let me back up. Let me let me back all the way back up. Okay.
Okay.
So Eris, first of all, we're gonna talk about love. He's going to sit on the couch with his wife. He's sitting at the edge of the couch, as far away from her as possible, as if he's the one. But I don't know, maybe too, though, because we also found out that he had COVID and he's getting over COVID. So I'm not even sure why they're filming together. But I guess supposedly, allegedly, he's supposed to be over it. But
Yeah.
I would have been in, what do they call those suits when you got like a
A
major
hazmat.
I would have been in a hazmat suit. I promise you. They couldn't have paid me enough to film with that guy. They couldn't have
Right.
paid me enough. But anyway, but they're sitting on the couch, and I guess they do have maybe almost 6 feet apart because he was sitting at the farthest edge, and he asked her, "Well, how many times have you been in love? What, like 5 times?" And he's laughing. He's just really trying to poke fun at her. Okay, have you
Hmm.
been in love 5 times? Because she has admitted to the audience that hey, she falls in love easily, right? And
Right.
so she says, "Well, no, three. It's only been three." And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. And I don't think I fall in love easily. And I can tell you this: it's easily been over 3 times that I've been in love in my whole life. Now, mind you, I'm quite a bit older than her. Okay, so we'll add
Hmm.
that to the mix too. But okay,
Hmm.
but the point being, but here's the thing: it's nothing wrong with falling in love. It's nothing wrong with growing in love. But Eris wants to ask, well, is it scary? Do you think love is falling in love and being in love with somebody is supposed to be scary, Roro?
Oh, of course not. I mean, I was always in love. I'm trying to remember as a younger woman when I wasn't in love. It was just always something to look forward to. It was such a good feeling, when you fall in love. It's just such a good feeling, but I didn't appreciate that conversation. I didn't appreciate what he was saying to her. It made me just want to tell him to go crawl back underneath that slimy rock that you just crawled out from under because he was really saying some dirty things to her, asking her those questions and telling her that if she wasn't a cheater, um, someone that had been involved in a, girl on girl situation and
That
someone
she's
who,
boring. That she's
yeah,
boring.
she's boring, she hadn't been
So
in a group scene, you know.
right, a orgy. So then, does that mean since she's boring, if she's not been in a girl on girl, does that mean that he's been in a guy on guy? What is he telling us? What is he trying to
Yeah.
hint at? I'm not
I
really
would have
following.
asked him, when he asked her, has she kissed the girl? I would have been, well, have you kissed the guy? I think he's trying to find something on her. Like he's probably embarrassed, so embarrassed, then she turned him down um, from the beginning when he asked her about her favorite, hot and heavy position.
Right
And
from the
so
very
he's
beginning,
never
right?
he's never gotten over it. You can tell that he has a minuscule ego. So, that just really did something to him. He's not used to it.
You bring
You
up an
know.
interesting thing, and last thing, we're going to wrap this up on them and move on to our last couple. You bring up a very interesting point because also in this scene, when they were talking about just the love part, being in love, growing in love, falling in love,
Hmm.
he said to her, he asked her the question, "Do you feel like you're falling for me?" And she very unequivocally said, "No, I am not. There's a lot more that you
Hmm.
would have to do. We need to have a lot more serious discussions before I can get there." And I think that you're right. I think that he's very ego driven. And I'm wondering, did he go on this attack after she said that? Because to me, he's very petty, just like his petty butt cousin. His
Hmm.
petty ours cousin Fallon, she's very petty. They both are very
Hmm.
petty, crab in the barrel type people. Like really
Hmm.
bring the race down because you're very ghetto and you're very just nasty, and you don't like Jasmine because she represents class, she represents poise, and she keeps it all together. I love the way Jasmine held her frame in this whole thing because I can imagine I would be on national TV because I would have went off. I just would have went off on
Right.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine that too. I mean, he was that was low, and kudos to her for keeping it classy, and going high, as Michelle Obama would say, instead of going down that low life with him, got down that low hole with him, because like I said, he just needs to crawl back underneath the slimy rock. He really
You're
does.
right. And to High Vibe, I got to give a shout out to her. She says Eris is emotionally immature. Yes, he is. You can't
Hmm.
love someone until you love yourself first. He's very depressed person, in my opinion. 39 and never been in love is problematic. Absolutely, absolutely is problematic. But I think that one thing about I find that's very contradictory. Has he been in love or not? Because let's think about something for just a second. He said that he's never been in love, but yet this woman broke his heart. He talks about it. Well, these feelings that I was having, I just imagine how worse they could have been if I were in love with her. But, sir, you told us in the earlier episode that for 10 years you dated and you were just like, you were out of it. You were out of it. You couldn't focus. You were just basically dogging women, using them for their body and for sex. Okay, sir.
Hmm.
So, wait a minute. You sure you weren't in love? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe
He
you
don't
were
know.
in love, but you don't want to admit it, sir.
Right, right. And then that makes me wonder about his intentions, like all of the, several of these people. That makes me wonder about his intentions. What were his intentions for coming onto this show? What was he expecting? Because if he knows anything about, really being in a good relationship, you're not going to come on a show and have a woman that is like somebody from the streets, that's really not ready for marriage or don't know anything about being in how to maintain a relationship. You're coming on the show for somebody like Jasmine, and to ask her those crazy questions as if that's what he was expecting of her. That's ludicrous. He's a loser. I'm
He's
just
a
done with
loser.
him.
I am too. I'm very done with him. Now somebody asked the question, yes, NJ Kimono '07. Okay. Um how was he a viable candidate? And that was my point. I don't know if you were here earlier. If you just came in, please be sure those of you that like the video that just came in, it
Hmm.
helps us in the algorithm. But yeah, how no, he wasn't. That's just it. He wasn't a viable candidate. And I'll go this far out on the limb. In my opinion, I suspect that Married at First Sight, they did like a lot of these reality shows. I believe that they recruited him. I believe that he and Mac are actors. They came on, they want to be discovered, they want to push up their social media into
Hmm.
the algorithm, and they want to be like, have girls in the algorithm or guys with Matt. I don't know. Anyway, but they're trying to do something, but it's not be married. They came on this show for attention. If you
Hmm.
notice, everything about Eris says he needs attention. He needs to be baby. He needs his mother to wash his clothes. He needs his cousin to boost his ego and be his cheerleader and beat the women away from him. And God knows what else. What is he doing with this so-called cousin of his? But
Hmm.
the guy is weird. The guy is just weird. I'm sorry. He is just plain old weird to me. Um, I don't know. What you guys think that Eris was actually ready to be married? I think that Jasmine was. I think that she's sincere, and I think had she be matched with a good guy, I think she would have done wonderful.
Hmm.
High Vibe has a good point. High Vibe. says, I just wish Jasmine was not always take the high road with him. And that I agree with. I think it's great to take the high road, but at some point you got a person at work nagging you, dogging you, mistreating
Hmm.
you, calling you out your name, insinuating this, insinuating that. Sometimes you gotta, it's just that it could be that one liner that takes them right on out and they never bother you
Hmm.
again. She needs to really give it to this brother right here
She needs
because
to
he's
go off on him.
she needs to go off on him because he's doing too much. He is doing way too much. And she's in the beginning, I think she was still in like with him, but I think she's fallen all the way out of like with this fellow right here.
Yeah, she woke up, I think, as well. She finally woke up. And, I wouldn't be able to have feelings for someone who couldn't look me in the eye. He's just a real creep,
He's
you
creepy.
know, very
He's creepy.
creepy,
Uh,
cringy.
but but on to our final couple. I got so many words for this couple too, and I don't know how far to go, guys. Catch me if I go too far, because I'm about to go off on him too. I'm about to go off on him, and I got a word or two for her. Let me see. Let me start off slow here. Okay, I want to ask this question to all the people in the chat, and if you come in and you're on the replay, please replay people. I see you out there catching the video on replay. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank
Yay,
you. Thank you.
yay.
But what I need for you to do is not only just watch it. I need you to like it too. I need you to like it. I need you to like, the video is free. It's free
Yeah,
99 to like it, okay? I tell you
please
what,
like the
even if you
video.
don't, right, please like it, but even if you don't like it, hit the other button, okay? It all helps. All of it is all engagement with the video. Engage in the video. Leave a comment, drop purple hearts. Do something, please help us
Hmm.
out here.
Just
But
come and say hey.
just say hey, what's up, what's up, or like we say in Detroit, what up though, okay? But now,
What
but
it
getting back,
do?
what it is that what they say in DC? Is that what
DC, what it do? What it
what
do,
it
y'all?
okay, okay. Say what you say from your neck of the woods. I tell you what, say what you say and let me know what neck of the woods you're from, because everybody's from someplace different, and we know we even have international viewers out there too. But let me ask this question moving forward with Shaq and Kirsten.
Hmm.
Let me get this off the screen too. Hold on. I gotta get this off the
All right.
screen so everybody can see this for just for a second. That this is
Hmm.
Shaq. This is Kirsten and Shaq. Okay.
Hmm.
I gotta ask viewers a question. I gotta ask you a question. If you're watching this video, if you're a woman, if you're a woman that likes men, I gotta ask you, what if you were Kirsten in real life and you were going through this experiment with Shaq? And some of us viewers, we see what we see, right? Okay. We see what we see here at home. We see that Kirsten is not the most manly man out there. Okay.
Exact.
I don't know what Shaq's persuasion is. I'm not saying that I know, because I don't. I never met this man in my life. I wish him no ill. Okay. But if some of us, many of us viewers are seeing what we see on the screen about Shaq, just imagine if you're a lady right now, if you're a woman and you place yourself in Kirsten's shoes. She's got to go through with this 8 weeks of filming. Every day you're filming 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. You're filming with this man. And do you kiss this man? If you feeling what we as the viewers feel, would you want to kiss him? Would you want to place your lips on his lips? Because the thing that goes through my mind, and I've been very neutral about this from the first episodes, even though I was seeing what I was seeing with Shaq, I now have to ask myself, would I want to kiss his lips if I'm thinking, where have those lips been? Where else have those lips been? Kirsten says to us in the scene as it opens up that he doesn't come home until late at night and that she's often asleep. Where is her husband?
Yeah.
He says he's with his mentees. Do we really believe that? Do we really believe that Shaq is with his mentees all night long? These are college men. These are college
Yeah.
men that he's mentoring at some institution. They keep the name private, but he's at these are grown adult men. Do you really think the grown adult men want to be with a middle age, almost 40 something male
Yeah.
doing
I
what?
mean, she said that they're having events, late night events. Now, the late night part is what get me. I can see, yeah, there's some events going on, but how many events are going to go on late at night, especially at a college where young people want to get out in the streets, okay? They want to get out in the streets if they can. All right.
Yeah,
unless they have to go study or go get some rest, they want to get out into the streets. So that I
and,
think
and and not to mention some of them actually had to study to graduate. How about that? How
exactly,
about
that's
when
why
I
I
was a
said if they
college
don't have to
student?
study.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so like right, so like I'm really trying to figure Shaq. Then in another portion of the scene this week, he says, he has to make himself happy first. He has to spend time at the gym. Shaq, I'm sorry, but boo, your love handles is saying not gym, not gym time. Okay,
Not Jim, but somewhere. And I kind
not
of like now. I
not
kind of
not
like.
not GYM, but maybe JIM possibly.
Uh
But not
No, she did.
GYM,
No,
because
she did.
I'm not seeing Jim. I'm not seeing that you working out. You may be working something, but I don't see you working out, Shaq.
No, she
Okay,
did.
you
No,
ain't
you
fooling
did.
me now. You might be fooling
Uh
Kirsten. She's naive, but you're not fooling me. But wait a minute. But hold up. Hold up. Hold up. He says that he has to spend time with his friends and his family. He has to make himself happy, and then he can make her happier. Sir, I disagree. First of all, we know that you're not from Nashville, and supposedly
Mhm.
your family is not anywhere in sight. They're not even in that area, sir. So who are you really spending time with, sir?
Yeah.
I just
I
want to
mean,
know.
I think
Make
he's
it plain.
hiding.
Make it clear.
He's
Hmm?
hiding because, I think he's just trying to stay away from her because he's so frustrated. So I think that when he said, I have to make myself happy, it was kind of like a dig at Kirsten because he's so frustrated, because of what he calls her walls, because her walls
Yeah.
are up,
Her walls are
and
up.
we know what he's talking about.
And we
So
whoa,
he's trying to stay away
that could
from
be
her.
metaphorical. That could be literal and figuratively, right? Is that what you're
Yep,
saying?
yep, yep. Literally, her
Okay,
walls are up,
okay,
honey. They're locked
okay,
up.
okay.
Those walls are locked. And
I'm gonna tell a little story that's for story time. I'm just gonna tell this story, okay?
well, go ahead, dear.
I'm gonna tell this story, okay? Because listen, I don't have no problem with nobody, straight, gay, bisexual, transgender. I love all people. That's what God
Hmm.
teaches us, to love all people. But here's the thing, though. Here's a real thing. Years ago, I was a young girl. I was just getting started in my modeling career, and there was a male model that I met, quite handsome, African American gentleman, and he was also going to school to become an educator. I'm not
Hmm.
making any of this up. Now,
Hmm.
eventually we talked over the phone. By the way, I had just lost my father, so I was very young and naive.
Hmm.
Um, and eventually, though, we talked over the phone because we had exchanged numbers. And finally, because he wanted to meet my mother, since my father was not there any longer, to meet my gentleman suitors, right? So I invited him over to meet my mom, and he
Hmm.
sat in our living room. He was just as polished and professional. Sound familiar? Not saying
Hmm.
this is Shaq. I'm not saying that. But he was very
Hmm.
polished and just very articulate, everything. Very handsome also. When he left, my mother, we stood at the door. He left out the house. And I asked my mother, I was so excited to get my mother because I really valued, my mother had a way of seeing through people and seeing them for who they truly were, not just their representative. My mother
Hmm.
turned to me and she said, "Baby, he's nice. He's nice. He's sweet. He's sweet." And me at that young age, naive, didn't know, hadn't been out in the world, didn't know very much. I didn't even know what sweet meant. I was like,
Hmm.
"But mom, what is that?" And she couldn't put it into words what it meant. Okay. And
Hmm.
when he invited me out on the next day, we finally went out. We went to a movie, and coming back, he said, "I want to stop at my apartment." When he showed me his apartment, and I said, "Oh, what woman helped you? Did your mother help you decorate, or did your sister?" He threw out his wrist in the most effeminate gesture and said, and tooted his booty up and said, "I did." And
No.
I promise you, just like that, his whole demeanor went from masculine male to effeminate gay male. Okay.
Hmm. And your eyes
I,
were open.
I promise you. And when I went home that night, I said, he tried to kiss me that same night. And I turned my cheek just like Kirsten. And I said, "Thank you. I want to go home now." He took me home. And I told
Yeah.
my mother, "I get what you mean when you say sweet." That same man, I promise you, he married a woman. He went off to get his master's degree in Boston, Massachusetts at a prominent university, married a woman, had a baby, came out the closet about 10, 12 years after he got married. Okay. I
Mhm.
promise you. So don't tell me that it doesn't happen. It does happen.
Mhm.
And it's happening a lot in our race. It's happening a lot in our culture. And it's causing a lot of people to get very, very sick from this. And when
Mhm.
I say sick, I
Mhm.
mean physically sick. And we know what the disease is called that people are some people are carrying around, giving and infecting women who unknowingly and unwittingly marry a down low brother.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I believe I dodged the bullet back in the day too. So hey,
Mocha
I
Mocha
can.
says Mocha says, not to cut you off, but Mocha says, and I want to give, because there's more than one side to the story. Mocha says, I think that maybe because he works at, and she gives the name of the university. I'm not going to say that name. You see it up on the
Mhm.
screen if you're here with us.
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
says that they have a lot of things going on. Yes, but every night, all night, Mocha.
Mhm.
All right.
Well, like I said, I think, part of it is he's frustrated and he just doesn't want to be close to her because he's getting more and more agitated and more angry and more resentful. And to me, it's coming out in the way he's talking with her. And, his patience is gone. His patience is gone. And, not saying that that's justifiable, but, I think to me, these two are artificial, both of them. I think
Okay.
the
Well, go ahead. Okay, I want
yeah.
to just say, okay, to what you're saying, they're artificial. Okay, so High Five is saying that, but he's trying to get something from, I'm adding the thing, from Kirsten.
Get some.
So he's going somewhere else to get what he's been begging for. Okay, but Kirsten, isn't he married? Isn't he married? Okay, this is what I want to ask you guys again to consider, because everybody likes to dump on the women on these shows. And
Mhm.
isn't this Women's History Month, by the way?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
want us ladies, I want us women in the group to think about something. These shows are able to manipulate and edit these videos and these shows any way they want. We see that with Ready to Love. All the women seem like they're chasing after all the men. The men aren't even making an effort. The women are just beating down the guy's path, beating down their door. Okay. But with this show, okay, he's trying to get something from her. But what is he really trying to get? Is he trying to get emotionally connected? Yes, Kirsten has walls up. I haven't even talked about that. Yes, she has walls up. I
Mhm.
believe, and God help me, I could be wrong, but this is just in my opinion. Because if you
Mhm.
guys watch the after party, I feel like something traumatic, and I've been feeling this way, but this week's after party really got me headstrong on this, like 100% almost. That there is some kind of trauma that happened to Kirsten in her youth, in her childhood, or her teen years or preteen years. I don't know if it was sex related, an assault. I don't know if it was a molestation. I don't know. I'm not a counselor and I'm not saying that I am, but I've been around and I've dealt with hotlines and I've dealt with people enough to know that there is something that happened to this woman. And it's Married at First Sight is not above putting traumatized people on national, international TV to make a mockery and a fool of them and how they were injured. What Kirsten needs to do is get help. She needs to get help. She needs to get counseling and therapy to help heal whatever is going on in her life, whatever happened in the past, because she clearly hasn't healed from it. But at the same time, I'm not going to give this guy a pass, because guess what? He signed up for it for better or for worse, in sickness and in health.
Mhm.
He signed up for it. So why in the heck would he be going out to get what he's begging for from somebody else? It's 8 weeks. You mean to tell me you can't keep your vow for 8 freaking weeks? There's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
I
problem.
mean, like I said, I want to give Kirsten more grace. When it came to the after party, I saw a little bit of that, but I also saw that when what's her name, the host, um, when she called her out, she said, "I'm calling BS on this on you," and I think Kirsten felt attacked, and in essence she was, because she tried not to go down that road. She tried not to answer the question, but I can't think of her name. Rudy wouldn't let her go. She says, "I'm going to ask you, and you're going to have to answer anyway because it's my show." So I think she felt, ganged up on, sort of like, and she lost it. She lost it. So and plus the people that had the comments that she had
Hmm.
read from the people watching the show were all, kind of like attacking her as well. So
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
she
I was
lost
kind
it.
of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was looking at the comments. Back up for me, please. I'm sorry. Who are we talking about? Who lost what?
On the after party
Oh, Kirsten.
when
Kirsten.
Kirsten became emotional and started crying. Right before that, I can't think of the host name. It's just like I'm getting a block.
Oh, Keisha Knight Pulliam.
Yeah, with Keisha called her out. She says, "No, you have to answer the question." And she says, "I'm calling BS on that." When Kirsten said that, she don't always have a lot to say, so she's not feeling transparent. She doesn't feel like being transparent. And Keisha told her that, that's BS because that's what makes you you, just to open up. And I think she felt attacked because she didn't want to answer that question. She really didn't.
I guess
And
that's a possibility, and that's a very strong possibility. I feel that two things can be true at the same time, Roro.
mhm,
I feel
mhm,
like she definitely felt pushed, absolutely, just like she felt. It feels like watching the video this week. She felt pushed. She felt cornered when her man was asking her, "Well, what else is there to tell me?" When she set it up, she's dressed in this robe. He gets in
mhm,
his robe, and she makes it like it's going to be a romantic evening. The candles are lit, the warm
mhm,
bath water. They got the foot massage bath water thing, a foot soaker, whatever you call it, right?
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and she's got it all prepared with the warm water and the bath salts, or with for Epsom salt or whatever for his feet. And she puts the a mask over his eyes, and they have a glass of wine. She hands him a glass of wine. She puts a glass of wine in her hand, and she puts her mask on, and they're both sitting there right next to each other, knee to knee, shoulder to shoulder. And when he asked her what's going on, tell me something about you I don't know. Oh, and she says, "Oh, there's so much about me that you don't know," but she refuses to tell him what it is. She's
right,
trapped. She's stuck. Um,
right.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm not giving her a pass on that, because to me, why come on this show if you're not ready to open up and be transparent? That's what reality TV is all about. Letting us in your business, us, the public that really don't have no business in it. We want to know
We want to
what
know.
happened,
I
girl.
know.
Who
I
broke
just,
your heart? Why are you stuck? Did you go to
yeah.
therapy? What happened in therapy? Tell us something. Give us something. And
And we
yes,
want to see how it's going to play out.
how
Yeah,
it's gonna play out. And yes, Kirby, I told that story. Kirby reminded me, you told that story, Miss Aubrey, 101 times. Yes, actually, Aubrey has told that story, and that's how you know it's true. When someone is not making up something that really happened in their life, they will tell the story because it made an impression on me. Why? Because this man, who I loved as a friend, I later came to love as a friend, married a
hmm
woman who was not suspicious of him being what he was. She gave him a whole child. Yes, yes, like Ready to Love. She gifted him a whole beautiful son in wedlock, not outside of marriage. Okay.
hmm
And then after he bought this beautiful big house for her and their child and put her in it, and they were both working as educators, he came out the closet less than 10 years later.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that was before the onset of HIV.
No, it
Put
was
it
not
like that.
before the onset. HIV
Oof.
has been around a long time, even back
Yeah, I
then.
know.
I think that he's fortunate and she's fortunate. As far as I know,
hmm
she does not have HIV. He does not have HIV. But I used to always get curious, like, why did he always want to say he wanted to move to Atlanta? He wanted to leave the Midwest to go to Atlanta. Atlanta, that's
hmm
known for down low brothers. But you know
hmm
what? I'm gonna take that rap off of Atlanta. And sorry if you guys don't be offended if you live in Atlanta, you're from Atlanta, because you know what? I got a daughter in the DMV. The DMV is known for down low brothers. Every major city around this country is known for down low brothers. New York City,
hmm
Nashville. Okay, they're everywhere. And to your point, um, high vibe, yes, I get that our community is very homophobic. I get it. I get it. But what I don't get the idea that you would take a man or a woman, because women have done this too, by the way, that a person who knows that they have affections for the same gender would take and marry
hmm
someone to make their career seem better, to make themselves seem heteronormal. or whatever that is. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say? That they would seem like
Mhm.
an American family, husband, wife, 2.5 kids, and a white picket fence. I don't get that anybody would do that to somebody, but people are doing it every day. I'm gonna tell you a new story, Kirby. Last story, true story. Not going to
Mhm.
say the name of the group. Maybe I told this one before too, Kirby, but there's a very popular group out there, a singing group, very handsome men, and one of the guys was not straight. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
he was living his life as if he were straight. Offered a plethora of money because he was worth millions to a girlfriend of mine to marry him, and said
Mhm.
that you don't have to worry. You'll have your own bedroom. It's not like I'm trying to mix and match. Okay, follow my
Mhm.
drift. I'm not trying to mix and match, but I just want the appearance of a husband and a wife. That's all
Mhm.
I want. You can have all the fur coats, you can travel, you can do whatever. As long as you keep it on the hush hush, whatever you're doing. Because I'm gonna be doing mine over here with this person, and you do yours over there. So please, people, I want people to stop acting like this doesn't happen. I don't know. Do I know that this is Shaq? Is Shaq really, down low? Is he
Mhm.
gay? Is he bi? I don't know.
We don't know,
We
but
don't know. We don't know.
maybe
This is
he wants
all
a beard too, like the situation you just mentioned. That man wanted his wife to be a beard,
that's what
so
that's called. You're right. That's what that's called. So
maybe
I
that's what he
mean,
wants. But
I
something's not right in the pudding with those two.
it's not. It's not. It's not right. It's not normal. We see that they have tension. Does it have to be that? No. But all I'm saying for the women and the men who are straight is just to stop and think about it when everybody's saying, well, why won't she kiss him? Why won't she just give him a little peck? Because I've said it myself. I've said it here on this show before too. Why won't she just give the man a peck? But then I stopped and thought about it this week and I said, you know what? If she's feeling like I'm at all feeling about him and how different he is. Oh, and by the way, who brings their mentees to their house to tell their wife, we thought you was ugly, and who do your hair? Who do your
Those
hair?
silly little boys. Yeah,
Oh my God.
silly little boys. Excuse me.
Oh
Oh
my
my goodness,
God.
excuse me.
The
That's the way
black
I took that.
community, the black community is in a struggle. We're in a fight right now, okay? Because if women are the only ones mainly raising our sons and daughters because men want to be out here like Nick Cannon having a baby on every corner and a baby mama and not marrying nobody and not being in the homes to raise a son or raise a stepchild or a stepdaughter. You want to be out here in these old streets like Eris, all up and in and through these streets, orgying and everything else, and being irresponsible with your reproductive system, and you're
Mhm.
not raising these kids, then I guess we can see why so many of our sons are effeminate. Okay, we can see why. Because guess what? They don't have no man in the home to model themselves after. None. None ya. I'm sorry. Don't
Mhm.
like it? Do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is I thank God that it wasn't my experience. I just thank God for that. So I feel for those people who are going through that. Maybe I don't know what the solution will be. I just don't know. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know. That's deep.
Last thing, second to last thing, couple more things here. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
The job offer. Guys, what did you feel about this job offer that while the mentees are visiting, okay, while the mentees are visiting the home, and I guess he brought them to model again a
Hmm.
husband and a wife in front of these children, right? In
Hmm.
front of with these young men. I'm sorry, not children. These young people, young adults. He,
Hmm.
he did that. But then he starts to tell that this is the best modeling he can do. He goes on to tell that when the young man asked him, "Well, Shaq, you're 30 years old. You've been living single for a long time. You're set in your ways. What have you sacrificed, or what would you sacrifice for the marriage?" And then Shaq answers, "Well, I just got a very big position offered to me by another university. We would have to leave here. But did I tell my wife? No, I didn't. I sacrificed for her." And then we see Shaq in the confessional talking about, "I hope she appreciates me Why is this giving me Justin and Alexis vibes when Justin took his had his dog gave his dog to a friend to watch and moved the dog across country? Why is this giving Justin vibes to me?
Yeah, he assumed a whole lot, and you know what happens when you assume, you know. So I didn't think I thought that was real crazy because he didn't even have to bring that up. He didn't even have to bring it up. If he didn't consult his wife about it, why even bring it up? That was something that he could have just kept to himself. And what was the point of saying it in front of the guys, the young men? You know, why? What he was trying to impress them, and shock her all at the same time, and then hope that she was going to be okay about it, and also hope that she was going to look at him now as some type of knight in shining armor. I didn't get it.
I didn't either. I mean, I'm just saying. Again, put it in the chat. If you're a woman, so you're taking Kirsten, you're gonna pretend to be her for a moment. Would you want your new husband to tell you that he got this job offer and to discuss it with you? If you're male, if you're a man, would you have discussed it with your new wife? I don't care what you thought she would have thought, but would you have been willing to discuss it? Because to me, that's part of the work of a marriage. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're
Oh,
right.
we got a couple of people in the chat that are saying that they don't believe that there was an offer. That's interesting. So then, high vibe. Are we saying that this man, Shaq, doctoral candidate, man of the year, are we saying that he is telling an untruth? What?
Yeah, he was fibbing. That's what it sounds like. That he could have been fibbing just to impress her, or just to make himself look good on TV, and to impress the young men, the very large young men that was all stuffed up on that little sofa.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that visual of those four grown men,
Yeah.
knee to knee, sitting on that little. It almost looked like a love seat rather than a sofa, but I guess it was a small sofa. But four grown men sitting knee to knee, hip to hip on that seat. That gave its own shout of whatever. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
love what Edward Smart says here. Yes, absolutely, discuss it. Millennial mom says, I agree. Why bring it up? Especially at that time. Exactly. Why? But
Hmm.
excuse me, I'm almost about to lose my voice. Not why bring it up, but why do it? Why not discuss it with your wife? Oh my goodness, this time is getting away from us, guys.
Yeah, I see that.
Um, okay, one last thing. Look how decisive he was about the plant, and he's given up a high offer position. She says nah. So Kimono doesn't think that it really happened. A lot of people are saying they don't believe him. That's
Well,
interesting
I'm
because
kind of inclined to think that too,
mm,
because it just didn't make sense for him to bring it up, to even say that. If it's something that yes, we'll say he Lied, just like he's Lyn. I'm just
right,
spelling it
I
out.
had to laugh because she said yes for saying he Lying about where he was at night too. Hi, Bob,
Yeah,
you are a mess. Guys,
yeah.
we have got to go. I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking it out till the end, the bitter, bitter end. I'm sorry if I was rude or mean. I'm
You
sorry,
were
but
not. You were just being yourself. You're a passionate person.
I have waited and waited. I've tried to give, all benefit of the doubt, but some things just aren't adding up with Shaq. Uh,
Hmm.
Eris, it never did add up. He never
Right.
did seem like a viable candidate for marriage, and now he's just making me angry.
Yeah.
Guys, join us here
Why?
again next week at the same time. We'll be back in about just a half an hour at 6:30 for Ready to Love, if I can get myself together for that, because I'm really
Woo.
running overtime.
Mhm.
Guys, consider joining our A team with Roro. She's an A team
Yeah,
member.
come on over. Come
Ellen
on over
V.
with me.
Monique King, also moderators extraordinary, and also members, and several others are members here. What you get by being a part of the member, you get perks. But one of the best things you can say is that you've helped a starving, striving new content creator artist to keep going. Because honestly, without the membership, guys, I couldn't do this. I honestly could not. I could not. I could not. I could not. Oh, thank you, High Vibe. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we
Um,
appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Oh, what is that? A pound cake? Oh, okay. Oh, you made one. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I'm a over on IG. I'll give you my address, and you can ship me a slice. Okay.
Dang, girl, why you talking about pound cake? And my doctor told me to lay off carbs for a while. Oh my gosh. Mm.
Well,
Oh God.
you lay off of them. My man said he like them thicker than the Snickers. So.
I know that's right. Hey, Thickums. That's what. Yeah, that's a good thing to hear. Oh, come here, Thickums. Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys, we will be back here next week. Like I said, we'll be back actually even in a half an hour with Ready to Love. We got a lot to say about that too. So, guys,
Yes.
say goodbye.
I'm
Say
gonna say
goodbye,
it in the
Roro.
chat.
No, you gonna
Bye,
say it in the
guys.
chat?
Love you guys. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna say a lot about RTL in the chat. Bye,
Oh,
guys.
coming up.
Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Let me get this off the screen so
Hmm.
we can see Roro right there. Um, yes, guys. We will see you back here. We want to thank our moderators who keep the chat safe. We want to thank all of you for being here. You guys have been a wonderful audience. I'm sorry if I ran it too much, but I had to get that out.
Mm-mm.
I
No,
had to get
she's
that out.
passionate.
I had to get
She's
that out. But here we go, guys. We're out of here. Bye now.